This morning, millions of people still without power after Hurricane Irma. Later this hour, Florida Governor Rick Scott, he will meet with officials in the Florida Keys to discuss recovery efforts there. Officials say the roads are looking much better. I can tell you the roads were looking much better as we left there yesterday. Gas stations, though, hospitals, still not back to normal.
So in the middle and the lower Keys, you've got utilities and communications either spotty or just non-existent, as John can tell you from personal experience. You've got rescue teams, law enforcement, military personnel continuing to go door to door, assess the damage, and see what they can do to help. And Hurricane Irma's destruction is just beginning to really come into clear focus across the Caribbean. The small island of St. John in the U.S. Virgin Islands is still without power, running low on food, water, and supplies.
Yeah, CNN's Sarah Seidner reports from St. John.
This is or was a famous historic lookout point. It's the Chateau Bordeaux restaurant where tourists and residents alike spent time taking a look at the beautiful views here in St. John. Well, those views are gone.
We're supposed to be America's paradise, and look what it looks like.
Leah Randall rode out Hurricane Irma in a hurricane bunker with her fiancé. When she emerged from safety, she was awestruck at the view of their beloved island of St. John.
I don't think that people really understand the level of devastation that we have here. We feel like we are living in a war zone and a nuclear bomb went off.
Now the shock of it all is subsiding.
I'm sorry about Buxom, I really am.
I know.
And the tears are beginning to flow as neighbor greets neighbor to commiserate. For Leah and her fiancé, the storm snatched away their charter business and their dream home, a wooden boat named Buxom 2.
We looked at pictures of Buxom, and it's unreal to think that she's... Anyway, sorry. I mean, all the stuff we had on there is gone. We only had like 3 suitcases.
From the ground, it's clear things are bad here. But once you get higher on the island, the true scope of the devastation comes into focus. There is damage just about everywhere. And it's not just homes that are damaged, but take a look at the infrastructure. Nearly every light pole is pushed over in some way, not a single one standing up straight. Kind residents offered to drive us from Coral Bay to Cruz Bay on the other side of the island. For a time, the scene just kept getting worse and worse at every turn. Johnny B. has lived on St. John for 20 years. Life, he says, was easy here and laid back.
I got to make a choice, you know. I mean, it's going to be a hard way of life compared to what it was for 20 years.
Then the storm hit. The next day, chaos ensued. What happened in the first day or days after the storm that surprised you or disturbed you?
Looting. A lot of people I didn't expect to do it were doing it. And it wasn't time for desperation yet. It was the day after, you know, there was no reason for it. I think it was it was just gross.
Police have now moved in to quell the security issue. But the most needed supplies are still just trickling in a week after Hurricane Irma. In Coral Bay, most of the supplies are shipped in by private individuals from St. Croix. Just about everyone needs something here, including the famous wild donkeys of St. John. They too are survivors of the storm, left to forage what little vegetation is left.
It's just disbelief. You know, it's hard to believe. We all lost something in this storm, you know, but a lot of people lost everything.
Life used to be easy on this island, very laid back, and now people realize just how hard their lives have gotten. And people who are asking, what is it that we can do to help St. John and some of these other islands dealing with this devastation? Well, they need things like generators because power is completely gone here. It's dark. They also need a communication tower so they can actually try and get supplies in and out and the things that they need. But those things are hard to come by on this little tiny island. Sarah Seidner, CNN, St. John, U.S. Virgin Islands.
And our thanks to Sarah. What they also need is to get their story out. I think people in the U.S. Virgin Islands were frustrated for a few days that perhaps people did not know the scope of the devastation there, so it's wonderful that Sarah is there.